Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, so today I'm bringing you some breaking news. Just a rumor mill, basically. All about the rumor mill that's going on this week surrounding all of the three announcements and events that are coming up. So let's get started. First, the iPad mini. The iPad mini right now, we're seeing a couple different things coming up on it. So, a couple different things. For one, the iPad mini pricing is still, what price is it going to be at? Now, it's estimated that it cost Apple about $200 to make this. And as I've said before in my other videos, Apple does not usually care about market share. They more so care about profit margin. That's how they make their money. They don't make money by, owning the most market share. They make money by having the biggest profit margin. Now, of course, the only time this was an exception was with the iPods, but they never really had any competition to really compete with it at that level. So really the really thing is that what price is it going to be at? New reports are saying now 329. I think this is pretty good. I have always said it would be between 300 and 350, although I always lean towards the 350 just because Apple wants to make a good profit margin. Now, for $150, this seems a lot more likely as it's about how much they make off of their iPods, which are, lower priced products. So I don't think they would want to make any less, especially since this is going to cut hugely into their new iPads. The new iPad is going to dramatically drop in sales, and you can count on that. Now, what they're hoping to do is, of course, as the new iPad sales drop, the new iPad minis go on a huge spike. And we'll see how this works. I mean, I think they will have some competition with the new Surface tablets coming out, as well as the Nexus 7s now going to be at a lower price, which I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I see 329 as a good price point. And remember that 329 is expected to be for the uh, 8 gig or 16 model. That's the kind of thing that like everyone's kind of like, well, what is it going to be? Is it going to be 16? Is it going to be 32? Is it going to be 8 gig? And it's interesting. It's interesting. Um, hmm. I feel that Apple has been moving away from the 8 gig, so I'm guessing that they would go to a 16. And if it's at 350, I definitely believe it'll be 16. If it's at 329 or 299, I would say it's more likely to be 8 gig. We'll see how it goes. Flash memory doesn't cost a lot more for the manufacturer when it's gigs. It's just the value of the brand, and since Apple tries to make their brand very valuable, I just don't see it going down too much. The other thing on that announcement that's come up recently, now the other possibilities people were saying is, there's going to be a Retina display, a MacBook Pro. There's going to be a couple of other things, such as like even a Mac Mini. I mean, the Mac Minis haven't been updated for a while. They still don't have USB 3.0, so that could be another thing. The last thing, though, which I believe could definitely be a possibility, is a new iPad. Now, I do not believe it would change because Apple does not have the manufacturing capability to make a new iPad two within the same year for the same kind of specs. They just don't they don't manufacture their own stuff, so that they don't have the capability to do that. So I do not believe that if it is a new iPad, it will be different parts, with the exception of the power adapter. I think it is a possibility that we'll go with the new iPad with the Lightning connector. Although the only thing what I see troubling about that is I don't see how that Lightning connector will be able to be used on that many docks, just because the iPad itself is much heavier. So I'm just afraid of it breaking, and unless they figure out something along those lines to be able to support it, I'm really wondering how they're going to do docks. Just because, like I said, the way that older docks were made for the iPad, the connector was big enough to where it could support the weight, but since the iPad is going to be at the same weight now with a smaller connector, I just don't know unless you have something to lean it against. So, like, say for instance, on my connector, it has something to lean against for the USB. So even though the USB is smaller, it can still lean against it very easily. So these are the kind of things that I'm just we'll see if it's rumor or not. I do not believe though. Some people are saying that it's going to become with a faster processor now and all these. I doubt it would come with a faster processor. Just because that would take away from their iPad 4 announcement that would be in February, which it'll be interesting to see also if it goes back to numbering. Okay, next up, so the Windows RT tablets are going to come out. And the one thing is, if you don't know the difference between Windows 8 and Windows RT, make sure to check out my other video where I explain those differences. But really, one of the main important things is that Windows RT comes with Office. Now, there's been a lot of controversy on what Office will have if it's going to be compatible. So from what I've read, it looks like Office will be perfect for students. So if you're a student and you've been thinking about getting a tablet and you're looking into the Surface tablet, I will be getting it for my other channel. So if you haven't subscribed to that, check it out. And I'll be going over all the differences and everything like that. I already pre-ordered it, so I should get it the first day. And we'll kind of see what the limitations are. But it looks like Office will be perfect for students. However, if you are a business person that uses it, it's a little bit more limited on certain things on PowerPoint and Excel. So if you are a business person that wants to, get a Surface tablet RT, which is the $500 one, make sure to look into it first. Check out my channel, and I'll kind of go over the more detailed ones. I might even leave a link on the description down below, just so you guys can see a couple of the differences. But really, it looks like it's only going to affect very small portions of Excel and PowerPoint that the Office on the RT models will not be able to do. Again, it is free, so that's the big important thing about it, that you get Office free with this tablet, whereas you would have to pay for it on other devices. And considering RT tablets will probably move faster than an i3 processor because they're lighter, I think it would be interesting because it's made to compete with laptops around that kind of price point, but these are going to be much smaller, lighter weight. So we'll see how it goes. So that's going to be another thing to consider. And of course, next week we have the Google announcement, which a lot of rumors have been circling around it. So let's start with what we know already. We know that there will be a Nexus 4 coming out, and it will be from LG. It's most likely going to be called the Nexus 4. At least that's what the code name has been at this time. It's really interesting that Nexus isn't putting or LG rather isn't putting Optimus Nexus. I thought that sounded cooler than Nexus 4, but we'll see what they come up with. In terms of specs, though, this wasn't the greatest. It looked more like the Optimus G, which is being released for AT&T and Sprint. So I mean, the main thing about it is it had the same processor that the Optimus G has. I believe it has the same screen actually even, and the same RAM. 16 gigs of storage, 8 megapixel rear camera, and 1.3 in the front, and then 2100 milliamp. The big thing, of course, it will be stock Android, and it's expected to be Android 4.2. So here's the other thing. Android is supposedly going to come out with Android 4.2. Now, will this be the new code name, of course, of Key Lime Pie, which is the next name to be bestowed on the next operating system? That still remains to be seen. I do think they would. If they make at least 4 or 5 big changes, I think Google will name it Key Lime Pie. So that will be that's supposed to be the next operating system. Now, the what do we expect to see with Key Lime Pie is another thing. So there's been leaks on a couple of things. One is the multiple users. Supposedly we're going to get multiple users now on Android. So this is really going to be geared more towards tablets, of course, because phones, everyone's going to use their own phone. Although, I mean, you could use it at times for, like you say, if you want your kids to play with it. But I think that's more times than you're not going to really need to sign in and out for that reason. But for tablets, I think it's a great idea, to have multiple users. So that's kind of cool. Another thing, we've seen leaks of a new camera and gallery app. The camera will now basically be able to do panoramic on portrait mode as well as it's always been able to do on landscape. So that's one cool feature. It's mainly kind of just to compete that Apple literally has nothing that Android doesn't have, because that was saying we can do landscape and portrait now. First of all, landscape panorama is going to be better than portrait panorama anyway, but just so it's kind of easier, and I think it's just kind of like oh yeah, we can do that too now, kind of thing. So because Apple's really fallen behind on what they can do versus what Android can do, and Android can just do a lot more. The other thing is we've seen a new gallery app which has gotten mixed reviews. This is in the preliminary stages, so they're saying that this might even come out after 4.2. It's a possibility. We'll have to see. The other things is that, that is the main things we've seen on 4.2. Everything else is just kind of speculation. Play Store could be upgraded, Google Now can be upgraded. But that's kind of the things we've seen a little bit from it. Also, they might do something a little different with tablets. That's also been another rumor. Simply because, tablets haven't gotten a huge change since Honeycomb. Ice Cream Sandwich, as well as Jelly Bean were more incremental, a little smaller upgrades. So we might see a little bit of a bigger upgrade on 4.2 for tablets. So the other thing is Nexus 7. Okay, so it's pretty much guaranteed that we will get the Nexus 7 32 gig now. We've already seen actually people buy the device and everything, so it's pretty much guaranteed. We will have a Nexus 7 32 gig, which is going to be at $249. The only question is what's going to happen with the 8 and 16 gig. There's been rumors that there will no longer be an 8 gig. There's been rumors that the 8 gig will be at $99. There's been rumors that 8 gig will be at $149. 16 gig, is it going to be gone? Is it going to be $199? That's the kind of things that have not been answered yet. I personally think it would be smart for Google to have all three out. At 8 gig at $149 or $99 would just blow Amazon out of the water and would make real competition for the iPad mini. I mean, if you're talking a product that's half the price, it's really, and it's going to have more horsepower than it too, definitely. So it's kind of like we'll see how it goes. But the other rumor has recently been that it will have 3G or slash 4G if you consider HSPA plus, which is what AT&T and T-Mobile have as 4G. If you consider that to be 4G or 3G rather, there's going to supposedly be a Nexus with that. So you should be able to use this with either AT&T or T-Mobile, from what the rumors are saying. But we'll see what happens. I mean, there's also been rumors, which I don't believe are too likely, that Google will offer its own data service and just use towers from other carriers. We'll see what happens. I mean, this is kind of interesting to see what they can develop for this. Now, the other rumor that has kind of come full circle, and I would personally love it. I would be very interested in it as well, personally for myself, on which one I would buy, is the 10-inch Samsung tablet. So this is an interesting thing. First, this was rumored to come next year. Then it was rumored to come at the beginning of next year. Now, with all the leaks that we've seen of photos taken by it, benchmark scores done from it, there's been rumors that it'll be actually at this event. So the 10-inch tablet, basically from Samsung, will have a higher resolution than even the iPad, than the new iPad. So it's supposed to be, really great. Now, the other thing that they can do with this is what price point would this tablet be at? I mean, if Google can manage to make it like $349, for instance, who would buy an iPad 2 or a new iPad then when you have that capability at that price, especially when you have programs that take advantage of it, like Photoshop and all these other ones, that what you really need the high resolution for. So it's really kind of interesting to see if this will develop, what kind of specs will it have, and what will it come out with. But yeah, those are the main things from the rumor mill all this week. Stay tuned and definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will be reviewing each of these announcements the day of, if not the night of. I'm trying to get my work schedule to work with it, but obviously if we can't do it during the day, I will do it that night. So yeah, guys, what do you think is going to happen with these announcements next week? Which one are you most excited for? Leave a comment down below, and feel free to ask any questions if you have any. This has been RICKY, the Android Guy.